The world of finance is in disarray. A secret that could revolutionize the world's financial system has just surfaced from behind closed doors. Perhaps the struggle between Swift and Ripple, which has been raging for more than 10 years in the shadow of the financial elite, is now coming to an end. And the outcome? Remarkably, Swift is the one who has given up. The conditions of their surrender, however, are even more startling. Swift is said to have committed to buy $100 billion worth of XRP at a set price of $5,000 per token from the open market. Give it some time to sink in. This is neither a symbolic handshake or a casual acquisition. An internal Swift document that was leaked claims that this is a desperate full-scale merger of equals, one in which RippleNet's state-of-the-art infrastructure must be integrated with Swift, which has long been regarded as the dinosaur of international banking. The catch, though? They must purchase XRP tokens at a negotiated price of $5,000 each, rather than at the going market pricing. In addition to being the largest cryptocurrency acquisition in history, if this is true, it also represents a forced shift of financial power from the elites of traditional banking into the realm of decentralized ledger technology. This type of combination not only garners media attention, but also sends shockwaves through the whole financial system. Think about it. Swift is the foundation of international finance today. It is used every day for cross-border transactions by more than 11,000 financial institutions across more than 200 countries. Every day, it processes trillions of dollars. Swift's adoption of RippleNet would essentially compel all participating banks worldwide to switch to XRP immediately. This is not a gradual change of choice. This mass acceptance is instantaneous and irrevocable. Never has the phrase hostile takeover been more accurate. It wasn't only a win for Ripple. XRP developed into more than merely Swift's rival. It evolved into Swift. Consider it this way. As the default asset in trillions of dollars worth of everyday interbank transfers, XRP transforms from a quick fringe settlement mechanism. And the ramifications are stunning if banks are suddenly being compelled to settle in XRP. However, why $5,000? Why would Swift consent to a token price this high? It becomes even more intriguing at that point. After looking at the leaked memo, a former Swift official said, "This insider claims that the price was not selected at random. It incorporates multiple levels of systemic stability calculations, stress testing, liquidity needs, and financial modeling." According to reports, a $5,000 valuation is what the market would need to facilitate a smooth transition to a settlement network backed by XRP at the size of Swift's operations. Simulations of XRP's supply and velocity under the new combined infrastructure were used to determine the figure. The model predicted that a specific quantity of XRP would be kept in institutional custody, which would further cut down on supply. Add to that the price that must be set to reflect the limited liquidity and the quick demand from international banks. The startling outcome? For the anticipated volume of use, anything less $5,000 would not be viable. Now think about the effect on the market. At $5,000 a coin, a $100 billion market buy would require about 20 million XRP right away. However, the liquid supply of XRP is much smaller than its entire supply. There is a severe supply shock as a result. Almost instantly, retail investors would probably be priced out. It would become commonplace to use institutional custody options. DeFi platforms would be rushing to incorporate them. Frameworks for regulations would be hastily established. To give institutional rails time to stabilize, cryptocurrency exchanges may temporarily suspend retail trading. There wouldn't be a chain reaction like that in contemporary finance. Stocks would respond. Cryptocurrency markets would explode. Governments would respond quickly. Within weeks, central banks will start revising their policies regarding digital assets. And, early investors who purchased XRP for pennies or dollars would suddenly be in possession of what is now regarded as one of the most significant assets in world banking, while all of this pandemonium plays out. Indeed, overnight millionaires and even billionaires are in question. What then is Swift's driving force? Why would a financial powerhouse that has been around for centuries willingly give up to RippleNet? Well, pressure and technology are the answers. Swift's antiquated system is unable to keep up. Errors are common, settlement timeframes are slow, and expenses are expensive. RippleNet, on the other hand, provides traceability, near-instant settlement, and compatibility with contemporary blockchain technology. Even Swift-aligned banks have been calling for innovation. Pressure increased when Ripple started to establish agreements in South America, the Middle East, and Asia. The writing was already on the wall when U.S. banks started investigating RippleNet. Although a merger was unavoidable, the cost was not. That is the point of desperation. According to sources, Ripple insisted that XRP be included in the deal as the cornerstone of the combined network rather than merely as a settlement mechanism. Swift concurred, understanding that they would become outdated if they didn't. It was a capitulation to a new technological era as well as to a firm. The old is being washed away by something exponentially faster and more efficient, which analysts are referring to as the Netscape moment for banking. However, this also raises concerns over geopolitical ramifications. Will governments permit this? Will central banks resist? And will the brakes be applied by regulatory bodies? Legal scholars say this type of combination is in the gray area. Swift is a multinational cooperative rather than a US-based business. Although Ripple is headquartered in the US, its collaborations are worldwide. There has been much discussion about XRP's legal categorization, but if this merger is approved and XRP ends up being the default bank settlement asset, regulators may be forced to formally define XRP as a valid institutional-grade financial instrument, possibly even a reserve-grade asset. Naturally, there are skeptics. The memo is alleged to be fraudulent. The $5,000 price tag, according to some, is inflated. Others contend that this is really a ruse to pump XRP and that RippleNet doesn't require it. However, the report's credibility is enhanced by the fact that other institutional experts have provided their opinions and that legal assessments of the memo have not discovered any overt forgeries. I can't wait to see you again in the next video. Be careful.